Castle Brando is located in the Veneto region, north of Venice in the foothills of the Dolomites. This is a group of our travellers exploring the pretty town of Sison de Valmolino. Behind it you can see the hills, now World Heritage listed, where they make those famous bubbles called Prosecco. To one side from here is Castle Brando. 2,000 years ago the Romans built a defensive fortress to protect them from northern barbarians coming over the Alps. 1,000 years ago, the castle counts of Veneto extended the battlements, and in the 13th century, the Bardolino family took over and made it an extravagant fortified palace. 1959, it was sold to the Salesian Fathers, who made it a monastery and a place of spiritual studies. In doing so, they covered the wall paintings and frescoes, took away extravagant furniture, and threw out ornate carvings. Then, in 1997, in comes Massimo Colomban. He bought the castle. Some years later I met this amazing man, this castle renovator. Massimo made a fortune architectural enveloping, putting the exterior finishing and facade on skyscrapers and notable buildings. He even did the tiles on the Sydney Opera House. Perhaps one of the reasons this man is an honorary consul to Australia for the entire Veneto region. Let me tell you how I met him and his amazing renovation story. With my wife Julianne and I walked into the castle, into the entrance hall to check in. You can see the reception desk in the top right. They were expecting us. One of the receptionists picked up a phone. We waited. Then looking back down the entrance hall, here you can see a grand staircase on the right. And that's when the reception staff looked at me and nodded up the stairs. At the top was an elegant man and his lady partner in a beautiful dress. I had no idea who they were, but almost regally they came down the entire length of the stairs and greeted me. I found out later that the ancient counts would play games with their guests. If they didn't like them, they were obliged to climb all the way up to meet the counts. If the counts came down and met you halfway, you were important to them. But for them to come all the way down to greet you at the bottom, like they did with me, you were either a king or a favoured friend. I am certainly not a king, but Albatross has been a good friend for theirs for years, and I felt utterly privileged because this was Massimo, lord of the castle. I was honoured and he invited us to dinner. First we checked into our room. There are about 80 rooms here of all shapes and sizes, decorated with historical furnishings. They really give a great feel that you're in a centuries old castle. Very comfortable, of course, but please don't expect super luxury. It's absolutely not about that. It's about authenticity, and to me that is always so much better. Then on to the Bar Donatello to meet Massimo. Stone-walled arches and windows that were originally designed to hurl stones down on invaders. And at the end is the table we sat at. Time for an Aperol Spritz. I have mine, and Julianne has hers. Then it was off for dinner in a Ristorante San Silvino. This is where you will dine one evening, and this is just part of what is this amazing castle. We joined Massimo and his lady at that table on the far left, and that's where he told me about his passion for renovation. Massimo was advised by his doctor to get a hobby, so he said he sold part of his business and bought Castle Brando. He told me he spent 40 million euros renovating and restoring it. 40 million? Really? For a hobby? I cheekily asked him how much he got for that part of his business he sold. And he said, well, over €1 billion. Over $1 billion. I've never had dinner with a billionaire before. He brought in teams of stonemasons, art restorers, and together they brought the castle back to its authentic origins. But he was also hands-on, and he personally helped with the uncovering of frescoes and artwork the monastery had hidden when they painted over or whitewashed the walls, including the ones here surrounding us where we were sitting. He said his passion for renovation and rejuvenation of the castle was fed by his passion for uncovering the technology and art that our ancestors had hundreds of years ago. 20,000 cubic meters of rock were excavated under the castle. Original furniture and stonework was found stored in the cellars. The region was scoured for missing furniture and artifacts that had gone walking in the last few decades. The castle became reborn. The terraces were recreated. The walls returned to the way they were hundreds of years ago, and the pathways were restructured to the castle grounds and woodlands. He built fabulous facilities for cultural events and the theatre in the most inspiring staterooms and galleries. The castle was evolving into a home for special events and becoming the social centre for the whole region. But that created a problem. With thousands of people coming, where could they park? He solved it by building a 200 metres long, 45-degree angle funicular railway linking the castle complex to a car park hidden in the valley below. And that is how you will be whisked up to the castle. Brilliant. The castle was now complete and ready for you to come visit. What an amazing experience. After dinner, Massimo and I went for an evening walk. That's us on the ramparts. We went along the terraces to see the church of San Martino with its frescoes. Then we strolled the castle grounds and we ended up for a farewell tipple in the other restaurant called La Fucina. Magnificent. And you can stay here in this castle as guests of Massimo on one of our Albatross Grande tours. And don't forget, we also have some amazing festive tours that stay here. How does Christmas in an Italian castle sound to you? Or New Year in an Italian castle? What fun and what great touring experiences.